In a previous video, I showed you how to put down parameters to control your carbonite or your graphite inside of a panel. And one of the things I want to do was put down some NDI feeds so I can actually see what's on the program and preview of my carbonite or graphite. So let's do that now. Before we jump in with DashBoard, let's take a second to talk about what NDI is and what kind of setup you need for this to work. So NDI stands for the Network Digital Interface. It's a technology that was developed by Newtek. NDI enables you to send video streams over your network with low latency. So typically you have a carbonite or a graphite and you want a way of seeing what's on your inputs or your outputs. So what you do is you take one of your outputs, which is typically going to be an SDI or an HDMI out, and you feed it into a multi-viewer monitor, which is just a standard monitor, which you've configured your graphite or your carbonite to output its multi-viewer. And that way you can see all the different sources. With NDI, you'll do something similar. You'll take that same output and you'll feed it into something called an SDI or an HDMI to NDI converter. These are little boxes that cost anywhere between $500 and $1,500. They typically have an SDI or an HDMI out, which will allow you to still plug in your multi-viewer monitor. The other thing they have is they have an Ethernet out. So you're going to connect that to your network. And it's going to create an NDI stream onto that network. And any device on your network that can recognize and display NDI can now see what's on your multi-viewer. Now, DashBoard happens to be one of those things that can detect and display NDI feeds. So we can actually display what's on your multi-viewer right into DashBoard. And I'm going to show you how to do that now. I'm in the panel I created earlier, and I want to put two NDI feeds here. And I want both of those NDI feeds to be the same size. So when I want things that are the same size, I use a simple grid. So let's drop a simple grid into this canvas. Simple grid. And I want two columns because I want them side by side. And I want 10 pixels of space on each side. I can also specify 10 pixels of space all around it. So go here, 10, 10, 10, and 10. Apply and close. So I now have my container for my two NDI feeds. To drop an NDI feed, I just click on NDI, and I'm going to click once inside of my simple grid. And it's now asking me for the source name, and I can use this drop down to see all the sources on my network. I only have one, and it's called multi-viewer. So I'm going to pick that one, and then I can have other options like the quality and the tally state and so on and so forth. I'm just going to hit OK and see what we get. Now, when I go out of panel builder mode, I can actually see my multi-viewer. I've set it up as a 2x2 multi-viewer, so I can see what's on my program, preview, and two of my auxes. All right, so let's put down the second NDI feed. So I'm going to click NDI, click in my simple grid again, pick the same source, hit OK. And now I can see two NDI feeds, and they're both pointing to the same thing. Now, the great thing about the NDI panel element in DashBoard is that you can actually specify a sub-window of the NDI feed and only see that part of the feed. So let's do that so that we can only see program on the left and preview on the right. So I'm going to double click on the program one. And I'm going to specify the sub-window. Now, I've calculated this ahead of time, so I know exactly where in my NDI feed is my program. You're going to have to fiddle around a little bit with yours to figure out where it is. Now if I hit apply, and now I can only see this little portion of the window in the program. Now let's do the same thing with the preview. Again, I calculated ahead of time where the preview is. Apply and close. Sometimes your NDI feed takes a few seconds to come back into DashBoard. This is normal and usually only occurs whenever you either start your panel or go into panel builder mode and back out. Just wait a few seconds and they'll come back. There's one more thing I want to do with this. I want to give the program one a red border and the preview one a green border, so it's obvious which is which. So let's go into panel builder mode, double click on the program, go to style, and we'll make the border style thick and give it a color of red. Apply and close, and we'll do the same thing with the preview one. We'll give it a border of thick, but this one will give it a green. And then apply and close. And we now have our NDI feeds with a nice green and red to show us which is which. We can make this slightly smaller. And now we have a really nice control surface for our switcher. We have a way of controlling what source is on program and what source is on preview. We can cut between them, and we can actually see what's on those sources. It's a really powerful thing to be able to control your switcher and see what's on air from the same area in a custom panel. You don't have to look in different places to control something and see what's on air. So you don't have to keep swiveling your head around to look at different monitors. It's all there right in front of you.